Hello, world. Ah, this is take 3 of What is Your Abundance, episode 2. This time we're on my phone. It's taken us an hour to get here. The angle is not as sexy as it was before, but that's fine. Everything is a work in progress, just like life. And so next episode, I will adjust the angles. So I've invited Danny. Oh, hey, Hamish. I've invited Danny. I must say, oh, hi, Kylie. Let's see. Oh, hey, Danny. Approve. I'm approving you. Add. If you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. We made it. It only took an hour.
Amazing.
Commitment to the cause.
So first of all, I really want to. Oh, there's a weird
echo.
Are you echoing?
Am I echoing?
Echoing. I think it's me.
Try that. Yeah, first of all, I want to acknowledge both of us picking it out and actually getting here.
Me too. Me too.
There's an echo. Where's the echo coming from? Can you hear that?
No.
I'm
echoing.
What about if I do this? We'll put some earphones in. We'll see if it changes it. Let me know if it. No?
Oh, that's better. But now I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't.
So before we
can't
tested
hear me
the
at all.
vision, now I can hear you. Cool.
Okay, cool. Does that better?
Jesus. Well, let's just take a breath. Let's just take a breath. If you're watching, everyone just take a big breath. Breathe out any frustrations you have.
I danced in between our takes.
God, that was cool. Yay. Oh, thank you for being here, Danny.
You're so welcome. I've been resistant and then really excited and then frustrated and now I'm excited again. So it feels important. I don't know why, it just feels important to have this chat with you. So thank you for having me.
Yay. Oh, hi, Kylie. Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, it's really exciting to be doing these videos again. Should we talk a bit about our process that we went through today to get here?
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's part of this topic of abundance. It links in a lot.
Yeah. Do you want to start? This is very loud for me. I don't know why. Let me see if I can turn up the volume. La 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 la. Where are the settings? It's weird. It's not very loud. It's okay. Trust. Yeah, so go, share.
Okay, awesome. I will. So you invited me to do this chat about abundance. And I've been sitting with the question, what is my abundance, for the last 4 or 5 days or however long it has been since you asked me, and asking myself the question and just kind of allowing it to permeate my subconscious and come to life. And as I was pondering that, I couldn't help shake, even though some other fragments of what my abundance is, which I'll share in time, was there, I couldn't help shake this idea that abundance is connected to wealth and financial everything, and you have to be all high vibe and awesome to access abundance. It's like that whole manifestation state that you have to be in to get it, you know? And so today for me and for the last few days, I've been going through a lot of stuff and not feeling high vibe at all, feeling the complete opposite, lack of self-esteem, self-confidence stuff, like just all the shit. And it's just been pretty not the way that I want to be on an interview like this. And so when we were having a chat today, we're both kind of moving through some uncertainty, and we were talking about, do you want to share what you were experiencing too?
Yeah, so it was really interesting for me because, it's a new thing, and with everything that's new, like there's a trial period, like you've got to try it on, you've got to see what fits, what doesn't fit, and particularly the way that I operate in my own life is often I don't know how I feel about something till I get there. So, and I know it drives a lot of people nuts who know me personally, because they're like, couldn't you have told me this before? And it's like, well, I didn't know. I didn't know until we got here that this isn't what I want. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is for me. So, yeah, I had that experience today where I was like, oh my God, I forgot that Monday was my day where it's my day for me. It's my day where I don't want to have any commitments, any time commitments. I just want to have the freedom to like really relax my nervous system and flow with my energy and just do whatever I want. And so I was feeling really contracted. And then there was also this story of like, but we're going to do it on Monday at 6 o'clock because that's when the engagement is, and that's the rule, and that's how you do it, and that's how you do the thing. And what it brought through for me is this reminder that like, one of the big commitments that I've made to myself coming back into this business and back into this work is I'm going to do it in a way that feels right for me. So like, I know all the rules already, and I've been in and out of doing this work for like 10 years. So there's a lot that I know, and yet I don't want to do it from a place of like, this is how it should be done. I want to do it from a place of like, this is what feels good. This is where my inspiration is. This is what is inspiring me. This is what's exciting me. This is what's turning me on. And I feel like today I forgot that, because we were all about like, when's the best engagement? And it's like, I mean, I love that the people are watching, and hello to everyone who is. And at the same time, that's not even what this is about. This is just about the fact that, I can feel my heart getting all like sparky. It's like, I just want to talk to people I love about stuff that I think is cool and share it. Like, that's all it is. So that all came through for me. And then at the same time, in the past, so this is also how I've changed, is in the past, I would have then scrapped it. We wouldn't have done it. And you had even messaged with that option, like, should we just not do it? And there's a deeper part of me that's committed to doing the things that I say I'm going to do. Because I feel like unless we follow through, or for me, unless I really follow through, I don't necessarily get the lesson. Like, so by following through tonight and having all the technical challenges and it taking us an hour to make it work and us still being here and us still doing it, it's like the lesson's really landing for me, and I'll remember next time. So yeah, that was my process of us getting online together.
It's so awesome, and it's so cool that like you were learning your own lessons and you were showing up for yourself in that respect. And through my journey and my personal resistance, I guess similarly but different, my previous reaction too would be like, let's just scrap it because I'm not all high vibe and I'm not all shiny. Yet my lesson is and my abundance, what I clicked when I was in the bathroom, like having my aha moment when I was going to sabotage all this, was, oh my gosh, Danny, your abundance, or your thing, your currency is vulnerability. It's showing up in your emotion. It's showing up regardless, and being seen regardless, because the world needs more of that. And the more we do it, the more permission we give. And then as soon as we admit to that, as soon as we, like you and I got on a phone call and we talked it out and we're like, I'm feeling like this. And I'm like, me too, but different ways. As soon as we did that, all the resistance just dissolved. And then we both got excited.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
now
that
here we
is,
are.
yeah, now here we are. And that to me is like creating the energy that we wanted in the first place that we didn't have. And that's the abundance energy, or that's the high vibe that we were both so attached to, but was being blocked initially.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a big thing for me too. Like being shiny, being like I want to live in that space. Like part of my abundance is like, how do I live in that space of vibrancy?
Mm.
And yet, yeah, it's the acknowledgement that there's a light and a shade, a winter and a summer, and we have to
Mm.
like acknowledge all parts of it to be able to fully honor and show up for ourselves wherever we're at, whenever we're at, and yet still be able to do the things, still be able to show up for our lives, still be able to move forward, still be able to create what we want to create and plant the seeds and have the forest of our lives grow.
I love that
Yeah.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, hi to a few people who've jumped on. Lynn, Claire, hello. Thank you for watching. So, Danny, what is your abundance?
What is my abundance? Okay, so what I think it is, and this could change, but presently my abundance is a few things. A big piece is my sensitivity and my ability to feel, and my ability to feel deeply. And I think for much of my life, particularly as a little girl, I really made that wrong. And I think a lot of us make that wrong, and we try and fit ourselves into these boxes and like shut down that part of ourselves. And we do it, I guess, as an adult by like numbing and busying and maybe drinking, whether that's drinking alcohol, coffee, or whatever, like to try and get the feelings away. But I think my sensitivity and my ability to feel is definitely one of my greatest gifts, because it not only allows me to like feel other people and connect into them, and then build relationships from that space, but it is the ability to go into that shadowy space and that darkness and that um, kind of the zones that most of us, yeah, don't want to go to, exactly on this topic of like needing to be all shiny and bright, and previously like only willing to dip my toe into the dark, just be like, oh yep, I've done it. Not really willing to go right into it. But from that space of emotion and my feeling self, I think the other piece of my abundance is the ability to express that and like bring that to the world. And what I mean by that is just be really real and really human and not hide my emotion and not mask when I'm not shiny. Um, yeah, I think that's my abundance. It's like that's the richness. It's like I'm here and I want to invite people to experience life in all of its colors. And and that includes all of the challenge. And I think that's the richness for me. It's like I might not have much in my bank, for example, but my richness is experience all the emotions, all the shades. Um, yeah, that's a weird one, or it's a different one to clock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's funny because like the dictionary definition is simply like having a large amount of. Like
Mm,
that's all it is. So we've tied it to money, but
mm, mm,
the direct definition of abundance is simply having a large amount of something,
mm,
anything.
mm. And
Um,
when,
but
sorry.
I feel like what it does is it really highlights where your abundance is. So where you have a real surplus of something, like where your
Mm,
power is, where your juice is, where your
like a
fuel is.
mastery. Yeah.
Yeah, your mastery. And then it also highlights where your lack or your scarcity or that gap is that you want to grow into. So I guess
Mm.
for me, that's why, like, it's weird. It's almost like the word kind of chose me.
Did it?
And then it's kind of just taken on its own life force, and I'm quite happy to go with it. I remember I was sitting in the beginning of a course that I was doing, and we all set our intentions for the course, and my intention just dropped in as abundance, and
Mm.
and at the time I did think that that meant money as well. But really what has come through is like the richness of living, like having a fullness in all the areas of my life, internal and external, and continuing to tend to the parts of myself and the parts of my life that I want to grow.
Yeah. Because when you read that definition, I was thinking to myself too, like over the last day or so, like what is my definition of abundance? And I was like, it's the quality of enoughness, and trusting in that you have enough now, but that more than enough is on its way. So there's that really deep quality of trust, of that you're safe as well. So it's like coming back to that real kind of like an inner child quality as well, or like root chakra, base chakra, like foundational, I'm safe and I'm okay and I'm always provided for element. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, well, this leads in beautifully to my next question, which is, what were you like as a child?
Yeah, I was those things. I was a chatterbox. My mum actually nicknamed me her 22nd girl because when I was a kid, I couldn't even talk at the stage. We'd just gone on a car journey to visit my dad who was working out of town, and I just sat in the back in my car seat and I just babbled for the whole 2.5 hours. And the longest, when I was silent, my mum would silently count to herself to see how long I was silent for. And the longest amount of time that I was ever silent for was 20 seconds. So she called me your 22nd girl, and that the verbosity, that's not even a word, that quality of being very verbose and talkative has never ceased. But I think I made that wrong because throughout my childhood I was told, like, you talk so much, you know, and so even though it's a big thing, like that, a gift of mine now, I didn't want to be that when I was a child, but I was also intensely shy and very, very sensitive. Like I would cry quite easily. I'd hide behind my mum's skirt. So I was quite fearful of the world. And very, very shy and polite and the good girl. And I think I learned to earn love, like you have to be polite and good. And the world was scary. Yeah.
And so how do you feel like that's informed who you are as an adult?
Yeah, well, I think I've always wanted to express myself, clearly. And so that's been my journey, is like figuring out how I can be myself in all of me and embrace my sensitivity and my emotion. And when people, like my dad, for example, you know, rub my tears away and go, don't cry, don't cry. Like figuring out how to embrace all of that and write my own rules and carve my own path. So my adult journey has been one of that, of just like buggering off to Australia. And I now know that me living in Australia as an adult for the last like 4 or so years was about actually running away from my childhood conditioning, which is New Zealand, and who my parents wanted me to be. And just being in another country so I could be all of me in all the shades. And hence I've embraced emotional health work and coaching and like embodiment and sexuality and self-development and all the things, because I don't think I really had that permission to be who I actually wanted to be. And so, I think I learned to get love by being the good girl. I also learned to get love by when I was unwell, I got more attention. So that's been part of my adult health journey. Yeah, that's actually a big piece that I've recently clocked, because we haven't shared on here at all. But yeah, my health, like I've had a really epic health journey. And I realized that like I learned certain things to stand out to my parents because my sister came along and I wanted to be, you know, like, look at me, give me love. So I was a really high achiever academically. And as I got older, you know, like to stand out from my parents and my sister, I learned, if I'm sick, like they give me even more support. And I don't have to step into my own abundance, if you will, on this topic, like financially, etc., because they're there. Like I can rely on them. So it's been this really interesting like process of stepping out of that child like way of operating and relying on, say, their support and their propping me up, and gaining love, and then really like jumping into slowly being an adult, and really like embracing who I am separately. Um, mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I just want to let's we'll like bookmark the health journey, and we'll definitely come back there. Hi Bella, hi Sess, if you're watching. I'm just, as people are like popping up, I'm like, hi. Yeah, I love what you said, because I feel like in a way the journey of becoming an adult is literally like rejecting is a harsh word, but really journeying away from who you are as a child. It's almost like to become an adult, you have to journey away from being a child and relearn who you are and how to get your needs met. So I
Yep, the
mean,
need meeting
leaving
thing is
like
huge.
like leaving your hometown or your home country is like such a classic example of it. And Americans, or some Americans, have the rite of passage of going away to college, and often in Australia it happens a little bit later. But yeah, that real journey of like, I'm just going to reject all of this and be something else, and then the true adulthood is like the coming together of the inner parent and the inner child, and being able to meet our own needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
And
journey
often
that,
coming, sorry.
I was just going to say, and now you've returned home. And so it's almost like we can't return home until like the returning home is like the completion of that journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And exactly what you just said. And what I was just going to say is so many people, run away, do the OE or whatever. They think that they're just doing the OE and it's actually them running away, and expressing themselves
Yeah.
in the world and figuring out who they are. And then, the coming home part, like a lot of us at like, I'm, mid 30s now, and a lot of us at this sort of age have this like return to nest kind of pattern. Not all of us, but some of us, like you see
Mm.
people's stories of like, oh, I returned home and lived with my parents when I was 33, and oh, there's all the shame, but like now I'm super successful kind of thing. It's like we have to go through that cycle to heal, and like you said, like meet our inner parents, our inner mother and father, and so that's been definitely part of my journey as well.
Mm.
Mm.
So would you like to share a bit about your health journey and what it is that you do now?
Yeah, I would. I yeah, just briefly, because recently I've stepped out of identifying with having the diagnosis that I do, which is a crazy thing. So, and this is
Amazing. Well, this is
actually
perfect then. It's a perfect opportunity for you to like re-language it, or not even
yeah,
speak about it at all if you don't want to.
well, that's the thing. Like in this process, and I kind of won't even go into it too much, but being given a diagnosis by a doctor or by important people, and then journeying with what that means, and then getting to a point where I don't want, that has never been me, but I even less want it to be me, because what I realized was it was becoming my credential. I was using it to jump on Facebook Lives like this and go, I'm not a doctor of psychology, but I have MS and I'm thriving with it. And it just kind of felt like, am I going to stand in a TED talk one day and talk about that? Like, just, it became this block to my life. And I realized that I was using it as a positive, but it was also sitting in the way of me doing a lot of other things. So recently someone said to me, like, would you like to surrender it? Would you like to give up having this thing? And initially there was all this resistance in my body, and I was like, how do I do that? Like, I want to, but how? And then I realized it didn't even matter. And this ties into like what I do with working with people in the health space now. It's kind of like you don't have to know the hows, you just have to be willing and show up and go, I'm ready, and lean in. And you'll know this too from emotional clearing work. And that's half of it, like people's willingness and commitment and their intention and their buy-in. It's just like once they do that, the magic starts to happen. So I just said like, yep, I'm ready, I'm willing. And so I've literally just been journeying the space where as soon as I surrender it. And so yeah, for those of you that watch like after the live or jump on, yeah, I was given a diagnosis of MS 3 years ago, and my first symptom and only symptom 5 years ago. Just when I've surrendered it, of course, all the resistance now comes up because it's been the block to having a relationship. It's been the block to earning the money. It's been the block to like, I have to heal and then I can do the next bit. And then now that I've let it go, all the fear and all the emotion has kind of, I've just been journeying with that, which has been, it's been interesting because I now see the parallel with everybody. Mine's just a health block, but everybody has a reason or a victim story or a like, I can't do this until I've got this, or when I get this much money, then I'll be happy. Like we're all doing it in just a different way, which has allowed me so much compassion for my own victim and when she's just really freaking scared. And this is like tying into the little child thing again. It's like that little girl that used to hide behind my mum's skirt comes in and goes, the world's too scary. But what I'm really seeing is this, like, first, the health journey for me and for many people is the physical body. It's like we change the diet and we do the tests and we work with the doctors or the naturopaths, whatever path we choose, and we do the physical body stuff. And then we get to a point where we just kind of start to loop and we're not kind of progressing, or we're not able to move past that place where we are willing to give up the thing, like the disease or the diagnosis. And you see it all the time. People are just like, no, my anxiety or my this, and they call it, they identify with it and they attach to it. And what I've really clocked recently is like bringing in the emotional clearing work that you and I do. It's like going in past the mind level, like, of course I want to heal and of course I want to be well, to the stuff below it. And that really is the game changer, because those subconscious patterns that we picked up as a child, unless they move, like we just like we're nudging up against this resistance all the time. And what I really clocked recently, and this is simplifying it kind of all down to like something really, really basic, because both you and I have done like a lot of clearing journeys with people that are big deep dives and long, and you have to sign up for 7 sessions or whatever. It was actually on another interview that I was asked, like, how can you be so positive even though you've had this challenge, or like, how can you thrive even though you've got, someone said you've got multiple sclerosis. And I didn't really know the answer to that. I just was like, I woke up like this. I'm just positive.
I woke up like this.
Yeah, I was just born like this. So modest, right? It's like me and my 22nd girl. Modesty as well. But what I really clocked was like this piece about deep commitment and choice. And that's what I really realized was the difference between those that thrive and that get on a Facebook Live after 3 attempts, and those who flick it off because it's too hard, is that deep commitment to the cause, or in this case, my body, my health, my life, my soul, my purpose, and whoever I work with, all of those things for them, and just freaking choosing that. And when we do that and we clear all the shit in the way to that deep commitment and that deep choosing, like half the work's already done. Like because we're choosing, like our body trusts us because we're choosing it. And so it starts to heal. The food that we eat is nourishing us because we've chosen the food. Like there's just such a deep shift that occurs when it comes to health and thriving and deep commitment and choice. So that's kind of a big mishmash explanation of a little bit of my journey, what my tipping point is, and also now what I feel like I'm here to offer people is like, you can choose yourself. Like, do you want to? That's really exciting to me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I really love it. Like, I didn't actually know parts of what you've just shared, so I feel like it's such a divine timing for you to be coming to this place in your journey where you're like, I'm not even identifying with that anymore. Like, that's not who I am. Yeah, I just love that because I feel like that's such an essential part of growth is to continually shed the identity and shed the labels and shed the, well, this is who I am now, to continue to move towards the next version of who you want to be. Yeah, it's really beautiful. There was something else, but I've forgotten what it is now, so I'll just trust. Yeah, there's so many things on the screen of my phone. It's just like, oh my God, how do people do this? Yeah, nice. So this is like a two-part question. It's quite fun. It's like, what do you believe your superpower is? And I feel like you've touched on this, but I want you to just name it directly and fucking own it. And in a kind of like superhero Marvel universe realm, what would you like your superpower to be? You know, if you could like have laser eyes or whatever. So please
laser eyes.
Share those. Hey, Mandy. Mandy's watching us. Mandy is also an emotional clearing super babe.
She is. She is. Okay, so I think my superpower has always been vulnerability. It's like you shared earlier about you just going to the event and being like, what's your intention or what's your word? It's abundance. And actually it was when I walked into spiral practitioner training, they asked us to choose a word, and I was like, vulnerability. And it's just been this thing ever since. And I didn't even think I knew what that word meant before that. But yeah, that's my superpower. It's like embodying it myself and also giving others permission for it. And the second part is what do I want my, like, in the alternate reality, what do I want my superpower to be? Oh, that's putting me on the spot. Time travel, I think. Is that a superpower?
Oh, tell us more about the time travel. Where would you time travel to and why?
I think I time travel back. I think it's this fascination with what was before us, and I hated history in school, so this is weird that I'm saying this, but it's like, what were our parents like, and what made them the way that they were, that passed all the shit on to us, or not the shit, but the patterns onto them. I want to have compassion for the witches that were burnt at the stake. Like, I want to go back to that, you know, like, I want to explore all of it. Yeah, I think I want to see how it all came to be. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I feel like that is the hallmark of a really great coach, is someone who has the curiosity to go and find out how someone became to be the way they are, or the curiosity of, well, why is life the way it is, or why is this, you know, like that curiosity of the why and where did it come from. Like, yeah, I think that's really beautiful. I really love that.
Because I heard this really cool, I think it was Alison Armstrong's book. I was reading it a while back, and it was talking about how the world, with like the dynamic with women and men, and this competition of us women now who like have to be the epic mums and the hustle boss babes and have the business and all of that, and we're just like striving to compete with men, and how that came to be. And in short, which like blew my mind, and I just want to share it because it's just cool, is
Please, yeah.
Is initially, this is pre-World War, maybe pre-wars. Initially, women did the important work. We were the nurturers, we were the homemakers, we raised the children, we birthed the babies, we were the emotional support for the men. So we allowed them to flourish and thrive. And we did the important work, yet we didn't know it was the important work. And the men were doing what we thought was the important work. They would go to the factories and they'd make stuff and they'd tinker away and they'd do useful things, what we thought was useful. So then they went off to the war, and women stepped into the factories and the like did all the stuff that the men were doing previously, and women were like, hey, this is cool, I can achieve stuff, I can do this too, wow, like I've never had this opportunity. And they got this taste for actually, no, I got it wrong. What we were doing before was the priceless work, but we thought that we wanted to do the important work in the factories. And then when the men came back, women didn't want to give up the important work because we'd had a taste of it and it was satisfying to us. And so ever since, there's been this like push-pull with women not actually realizing that we are here on this planet to do the priceless stuff, and things like emotional support, to help our men, to put it very simply, is actually really, really priceless. And we don't realize when we're hustling and bustling and like trying to get in there with men and trying to get equal pay and stuff. Not that I don't agree with us trying to get equal pay, but you know what I mean. Like why it all came to be. And when I look at it that way, and I don't know about you hearing that, but I'm just like, wow, like that makes sense. And I don't resent men like I didn't anyway, but like I just see the whole perspective quite differently when I hear that story, or the quite current reality quite differently.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah. Well, I feel like it's the masculine and feminine journey, yeah? Like the masculine journey is like the Industrial Revolution. It's so random that this conversation has gone this way. But we will follow it. Hey, Shakira.
But it's connected to abundance in terms of finances
Yeah,
and stuff,
like the Industrial Revolution is such a kind of masculine example, you know, like we're going to build things and make things and have factories and machines, and that is like so essential because it created space for us to have more of the feeling and more of the creativity, and that's the feminine journey of like the feeling and the creativity and the emotions, and like the Instagram and the social media, and it's like that is actually all super hyper feminine. And I think the magic is when they're both important and they're both valued and they're both like working together.
Yeah. And those are both forms of abundance. We got caught up thinking that money and earning is abundance, but like it's all that, you know, in essence. And we forget what as women, our abundance and our essence is. And it's so intangible and so like not spoken about, you know. Yeah.
Well, there's like the emotional currency and the kind of, well, like the doing currency and the being currency. Like they're both essential. Yeah. Because like today is a perfect example. Like if we had have just been in our being and our feeling, like this wouldn't be happening right now. We'd probably be like watching Netflix or going for a walk down the beach, or I don't know, whatever we do in our being state. You know, like it was the doing energy that had to come through to get us here. So yeah, they're both really important.
Yeah.
Cool. So if Shakira or anyone else is still watching and you have any questions for Danny, please type them in and we'll get to them at the end. So what do you feel like your greatest success has been so far? Like what are you really proud of?
I'm really proud of that's okay. I can feel the emotion. I was gonna say something related to my health journey, and then what like came in, I was like, no, what else? Because that's not my identity. That's not like what I'm here to do and be in this lifetime is just prove I can heal stuff. What I like my greatest success is like the woman I've become. It sounds so freaking cheesy.
That's beautiful.
But that's it. It's like from the little girl they talked about at the beginning who was shy and so reliant, it's like I'm fiercely like resilient and just freaking fierce. That's how I feel. The woman who I am and how I'm able to interact with the world and just like jump on the side and be myself and chat to you and activate that energy with each other and like relate, and that's my biggest success. Yeah, I wanted some big grand answer, but like it's just that simple really. as in had to overcome a lot
I
to
think being a
get there.
fierce
But
woman is a great answer. Like that's an incredible thing to be proud of, and a great and evidence of success in your journey and in your life.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, a very soft and fierce one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've known each other for a while. I've seen, a few ins and outs of the Danny journey, and like for you to just be like, yeah, I'm most proud of my fierceness right now. Like it's beautiful. Yeah, it's great.
Hmm.
So what are you excited about going forward, like in your life, in your work, in your business, like what's coming up for you? As in not what's coming up for you, but what's coming up for you in the future.
In the
Where's
future,
that
yeah.
angle? Look at this. What are It's fine. All beautiful people have a double chin. It's fine. I'll be fixing the angle next time, that's for sure. That's what's coming up for me, a better Facebook Live angle.
Yeah, this is only
Cool. What are you
Live
excited
number
about? What's
2.
coming up?
What's coming up for me? Personally and professionally. Personally, actually, no, personally and professionally, what's coming up for me is actual abundance, as in, no, not actual, financial abundance. Like, I'm really excited to, like, I'm going to start investing shortly, which is like a very small but big step for adult Danny. So, like, actually making tracks, you'll know this too, making tracks financially, to take care of myself, in a different way is coming up. It's happening already, but it's on the horizon. So that feels really, really amazing. And also business wise is actually simplifying. I was trying to complicate things so much. And even what I talked to you about before, like just this like little offering that I've created, that I've downloaded and realized that could shift so much for so many people, is so exciting to me to start bringing to the world, because I think we think it has to be way more complex than it is. So it's all about the commitment and choosing peace for people. And this is kind of not just related to health, even though I've positioned myself recently about, working with people with health challenges. I'm actually feeling like I'm really just here to work with people that want to just choose themselves and fully express all of them in the world. Like I talked to you about before, like all of their emotion, exactly who they are, write their own rules, like choose themselves first, and just feel really, really loved. So that's really exciting, is actually stopping hiding behind the health story stuff, and really going, you know what? This is my magic. I don't need the health thing. Like, I want to help people with health challenges too, still, always, like, as in that will be a thing, but it's not necessarily my little box anymore. So that's exciting. And the third thing that I'm really excited about is embodiment work. And I have stepped into this a whole heap more in more recent times. Just apply for teacher training. And that's really scary and really exciting. And I think more of what the world needs is expression through our physical body and moving emotion through our physical body. And I mean, it's like the new kind of way that things are going anyway. Like, there's documentaries on Netflix, like the one Heal. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all the mind-body connection and Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. So being able to speak to our emotions in our body and move them through like dance, movement, etc. That is something that I don't know if that's a professional journey for me to facilitate, or if it's just a personal one. But it ties into what I was talking about before, like that fierceness coming through, that really owning all of me. So watch this space. Who knows? Maybe I'll be dancing around in a retreat space near you sometimes.
That's really exciting. Hang on, I just have to close the blind because it's like dark and cold now. This is like Facebook Live in the real. This is not a studio. This is not a studio. This is a real room with a window with cold air coming through it. Yeah, cool. Two things. I think I've forgotten the first thing. The second thing though, yeah, like just the linking of all the pieces, the linking of the mind with the emotion, with the body. Like this is actually why I stopped going to yoga because it really pissed me off that there was no emotional aspect. There was no like expression. Like we're doing all these like really strong postures and we're moving all this energy through our bodies and yet everyone is fucking silent. And I'm like, and I know there's a place for that. Like there's definitely a place for like building that inner fire, but I want to like I know how my body wants to move and I know how and I want to make sound and I want to breathe heavily and I want to like express as the stuff is moving through my body and yeah, I feel like that's such a big part with you know, things like dancing eros and yeah, there's, I mean, the embodiment piece is huge. I mean, it comes down through Tantra really, but the joining of the embodiment with the emotion, with the mindset, like that's the mastery. That's the trifecta. That's the like the 3-star. What do they call it in Hollywood? That's the triple threat. Having all those pieces.
Yeah, it is. And we're so like moving back to New Zealand, like I see it even more here as that suppression, that emotional suppression, that like verbal quietness. Everybody's just it's like whether it's sexually or otherwise. Like I talk about self-pleasure across brunch and you know across the table with the girls, and they were all the other day were like, what was that thing that you talked about at brunch? And I was like, what thing? And they were like, what did you call it? And I was like, oh, self-pleasure. Yeah, that. Like it's just like let's just bring all the things to the table, and it doesn't have to be that kind of edgy, if you will, but like you said, making noise, making a sigh because you're tired in the supermarket, just it's not it shouldn't be a bad thing to release sound. So
even like the cinema, it's interesting. I find the cinema, this is such a fun topic actually. I'm getting excited. I can feel it. Because this is a big thing for me because I grew up like kind of the opposite of you in a way, but I mean, you said you had the talkative thing, but that you were shy as well. And for me, it was like I was always told to be like I was too expressive with my words, with my emotions, with my actions, like with all of it. It was just like I was just too much. And so I've grown up kind of, or I grew up with certain, you know, people or environments like the private school system, like, you know, just trying to like really quieten all that down so that you're, you know, like the classic seen but not heard thing. And I feel like the cinema is such a fine example of this because we're going like the essence of cinema is to activate. It's to activate emotion. Like it's storytelling is about emotion. And so we go and see these like big blockbusters and like there's either like the action films which are really exciting and or they're even the really emotional films and it's like everyone is just having these really quiet experiences and I go to the cinema and I yell and I laugh and I clap and I just get so into it and it's like but I can feel everyone else is so uncomfortable and which kind of slightly, you know, it slightly detracts from my experience because we want to have, you know, we're community connected beings and so we want to have a shared experience. So it's like if I'm excited, I want you to be excited as well. I don't want you to be sitting there thinking that I'm being annoying or that I'm weird. Yeah, because if you go to a concert or a show, people are a little bit more expressive usually. But yeah, you go to the cinema and everyone is very deadpan and I'm always like, why would you spend your $20 to sit here and have all these emotions but not fully express them, like not give yourself the fullness of the experience? Yeah, that's something I'm quite passionate about, fullness of your emotional experience. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Cool.
Journey.
Yeah, and I really liked what you said about how your journey is changing as a practitioner and as a, I mean, whatever word that we use for this stuff that we do. Because I think when we do box ourselves into a particular label of what we do, we're actually not growing. Like the true masters are people who are just sharing their journey of change and learning and inspiration. You know, it's like, oh, I just moved through this thing. Like I can show you how to move through it. Like that's really all that's happening in the coaching transformational lineage once you get through the initial stuff. And like having the courage to keep growing your offerings or the kind of work that you do with the inner work that you're doing, I think is the sign of like a really powerful, honest, connected practitioner.
Well, I think that, that's one of my highest values for coaches I choose or mentors I choose, and then also obviously myself, is like really being honest and not, like, yeah, you have to be professional, of course, but professional these days. And there was a friend of mine recently that was talking about like the new way of leadership is not do as I say, not as I do. It's do as I do as well. So we walk the talk. So it's demonstrating the vulnerability. It's demonstrating that I struggle too. But when I show up, I'm on form and I'm there for you and I hold space for you, etc. But not pretending that I've got all my shit together all the time. And I think that our clients love that too. It's like, I want to feel the person is real. I don't want them to pretend, like an old-fashioned stuffy psychologist in the office it's all one-sided. And it's not to say that we need to share all our baggage with who we work with, but like knowing that they're real, I think it's the new way of leading.
It's beautiful. And because people like as the feeling piece for human beings grows, like you can feel when someone's bullshitting you. You can feel when someone's being vulnerable and honest. You can feel like you can just feel it. And the feeling and then feeling it. Oh, what am I trying to say? It's like I can feel what I'm saying. How do I say it? I like went
Keep
so
going.
deep into my own feeling for a moment. I like lost the ability to speak. Yeah, it's like when we can feel the openness of the other, it opens us again. And then we continue, and then we both open together, and that creates the intimacy and the trust and the connection and the deepening. Yeah. And I like that's so important. Like I want to be, if I'm going to be vulnerable and open with someone and have them hold me through some kind of like transformation, I want like there needs to be that there. Otherwise it's just mind. It's just intellectual. It's like, oh, cool, I can learn something from you, but I'm probably not going to drop right in with you. I'll just go do it on my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So what else is on my list here? What else do I want to ask Danny? Cool. So do you have any like practices